Hello guys, how are you? Well, this is that video that I would like not to have to make, but maybe exposing the situation I'm going through will help you to be more attentive and not have to have some of the distaste that many people are having with fake profiles. That's right, someone is using my photos to make fake profiles. It's not just a joke, it's a scam that has a type of easy prey, a type of specific person who is its target, and I want to talk to you about it. There's a dangerous combination that joins the predator with the victim. Power of persuasion plus lack of ethics in the scammer, with a lack and absence of skepticism in its victim. Right at the beginning of social media, Orkut, which no longer exists, and Facebook created a furor. Everyone wanted to have their profile. Today, Facebook has 3 billion people who have active profiles. I'm one of them. You must also be one of these people. According to some research, the pandemic of the new coronavirus caused the number of people entering social media to increase, and thus minimizing the negative feelings of isolation and loneliness. Obviously, all this movement in almost 2 decades of social media has made many benefits possible. A lot of good things have come up, equally a lot of complicated things. New types of crimes have begun to emerge, such as hate speech, digital lynching, cyberbullying, pedophilia, false news and misinformation, among other bizarre things, such as the unauthorized exposure of some people's intimacy, or extortions and blackmail. Robberies, kidnappings, and even rape have had their start in relationships that began on social media or dating apps. It touches me deeply to know that some people are being victims of extortion or some kind of human evil of someone who is using my photos. Ernest Kedwitz, Michael Dahan Grifton, Noble, Ibrahim Wilson Silva. These are some fake names for fake profiles that have one thing in common. My images. Photos that the criminal or criminals downloaded from my social media and used to create their fake profiles. We only found out because some more skeptical victims were able to search on Google Images or hit my real profiles. So they made contact and exposed what was happening. The profile is very similar. A man in his 30s, more or less 40-something, starts making friends on social media with some women from several different countries. From what we know about the victims, the script is very similar. The person who uses my photo says he is living a kind of meaningless life, half black and white, after becoming a widow, losing his wife recently, or recently separated, usually says he has a son or a daughter. According to his description, he's a romantic, sensitive, polite person with a good job, and his victims are often women, alone, newly divorced, separated, or widows. They are romantic, credulous, and quite sensitive. It is worth going back to those characteristics that I put for you right at the beginning of our video. Persuasion power, the person knows how to make rapport, knows how to create a bridge with their victim. Lack of ethics, it is someone with character flaws, without moral conscience, and who behaves like a criminal to extort money from other people. And this coup, which was already very common at the beginning of social networks, now ends up making more and more victims. And there's another important feature. In victims, we notice the absence of skepticism, total credulity, lack of emotional disposition to check the data and seek information. The women who looked for us in private messages to communicate this reality started a virtual friendship thinking they were a real person. And for a while they communicated, gave personal data, treated the person as if he were a friend. Then the relationship evolves, goes to something like a virtual romance, with the promise that later it will become something concrete, face-to-face. The criminal with these women began to have contact via WhatsApp and Skype. I even received information from one of them. Imagine the level of refinement of the coup, in which they opened Skype and saw the image, which is my image, talking to them, so that later this image falls and the person says, for example, something like, the internet is not good, etc., etc. The way they are or he's acting is very sophisticated. There is a very well-planned trick to make the other person become very certain that image and communication belong to a single human being. After a while, the relationship evolves and this person starts asking for money, or asks for money saying he is in a difficult situation and gives his account for a transfer, or at some point in which this relationship has evolved to such an extent that they start thinking about a face-to-face meeting. But the saddest situation with which I became more solidary was the fact that one of his victims told me that the relationship has evolved to such an extent that they started exchanging intimate photos. Obviously, the subject did not send body photos without clothes with the face, but this girl did it. She sent him photos in which she was without clothes and her face appeared. At that moment, the bandit has a great opportunity to proceed with extortion. That is, then he starts not asking, but demanding money so as not to disclose, not to expose the photos of this person on social media. I would like to give you 6 tips. The first one is, in no case, give your true data to an unknown person. 2. Check information. Distrust. Trust is a value, a virtue, we know that. But distrust is also a value, a virtue. Pay close attention to small slips and inconsistencies that it presents in its communication. 3. Do not share intimate images with your face, photos or videos with strange people. 4. Do not accept to do business, pay anything, or give money to this person. In no case. Do not accept blackmail or extortion. 5. Communicate to the police. Overcome shame or fear and report. 6. Try to deal well with your loneliness, with your need in other ways. Read, get informed, take courses, talk to friends, seek therapeutic help, try to love yourself more, and like yourself and your own company more. Do not put yourself in the hands of an unknown person. And here are 2 requests. The first is that if you find some kind of profile with my photos and with a different name, or with my photos and even with my name, which is strange, please contact me. Contact me so that I can take precautions. My second request is that if you work with social networks, provide some service, or are some hired of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, in short, of any social network, please communicate to the administrations of these networks that this thing is happening, and perhaps with a much greater force than we can imagine. These are the profiles that reached me, but I don't know. Maybe there are an infinity of similar profiles happening using my photos. And when we file a complaint on social networks, even quickly, social networks drop the false profile. This is very good. However, this does not prevent the person from continuing to make new profiles and proceeding in the same type of criminal action. I want to thank you immensely for your attention. I hope this video is useful to you. If you consider it important, share it with other people. Many people must be experiencing similar problems. Many people must have their photos being spread in a criminal way. And another thing, many people can now, at this moment, be in a relationship, friendship, or romance with someone who has bad intentions. And these people are always willing to use what they know for the bad. I think social networks are like a stick of phosphorus. If you look at it and someone asks you if it is a good thing or a bad thing, please, let's think that ethics has nothing to do with the object or technology, but with your user. A stick of phosphorus is not good or bad. A social network is not a good or bad thing. It is innocent. What people do with it, yes, it can be positive or negative, good or bad. Ethics does not reside in the instrument. The instrument can be used as something positive or as a weapon. Ethics resides in your user. Stay alert. A kiss on your heart. Let's go.